Joint practice, which is, I guess, officially underway right now as we are at Colts camp and the crowd continues to filter in. I will say this, there's a lot to do, and if you've seen the video, I just sent this out via X and then on Facebook. My new friend, DJ Noah, that's G-N-O, see you later, Jake. Noah was up there doing some work. Yeah, that's nice. Some tasty tracks he let me lay down up there. So, he was doing a great job to entertain. You got a lot of stuff going on, but now officially the joint practice with the Packers is underway, of course. This will all lead to preseason game number 2 on Saturday. 10 a.m. is our coverage. That's where we begin with Colts pregame huddle. Me, Casey Valier, Bill Brooks. I think Joe Rice will be a part of it. Rick Venturi will be a part of it, too. Touchdown Town is going to be the location. We'll take you up until noon. Countdown to kickoff. And then, obviously, the start of preseason game number 2. It's kind of funny. Once we see a little bit more, and as I tell you, I can't see hardly anything out here right now, but as we see a little bit more and we get folks coming by to tell us how things are going, I often wonder, we'll ask this of Mike Chappell a little bit later on, just how beneficial. I asked this of Joel A. Erickson yesterday when we were live at the State Fair. How beneficial is it when the other team is not playing a lot of their dudes? I mean, does it actually work as well as you wish when the other team, what's up, Nate, is not playing a lot of its dudes? And, yeah, listen, we're all together. This is not new territory. This has been common ground. We're all captain skeptical. And we're going to be until further notice. And you know what? I'm going to tell you this right now. There's zero wrong with being captain skeptical because we have plenty of reasons, enough ammunition to be captain skeptical until further notice. So you want to see as quickly as possible, even if it is in a fleeting moment, you want to see the dudes versus the dudes to see how your Colts guys end up doing in those situations, because you want to see some growth. It's Matt Conti right there. Good to see you, pal. Matt Conti, by the way, is super awesome. Hey, do I say that enough? I'm almost like I'm your agent right here. I know, and he does not tell me to do it. I do it on my own behalf right there. Huh? What's that? No, did you fog the place? I just thought it was me. I'm just very honey roasted, and I thought that's the reason why they were all here. Yeah. Well, shout out to that. We had a lot of hoverflies here back on Monday, and the staff took care of that. We're feeling really good. And if you guys were listening to Jake a moment ago, you know that our super engineer, Phelan Watson, is also part MacGyver, put together what he affectionately referenced as a hillbilly air conditioning unit. And being a hillbilly like me, that's exactly that was our indoor unit right here as an air conditioner. It is a plastic tub filled with ice with a fan turned upside down, and the plastic tub has a hole cut in the side. And that was it. That is what we did right here. The hillbilly AC unit back in the day is what we had. And maybe some still have it down in GC right now. But Phelan's got us today, making it cool and comfortable in here. And we thank you all for joining us. As we alluded to in the crossover with Jake a little bit earlier, Kenny Moore is going to join us coming up after practice today. We're very excited about that. We'll talk to the longtime Colts defensive back about the progress defensively of this team, about the new feel of one Lou Anarumo was the defensive coordinator, and no more Gus Bradley, and a lot of his new teammates. I'm more focused, I think, because we talked to Mooney back on Monday, how things are coming along with those that are new, because I think we know how things are coming along with those that we know, the injury situations that they are dealing with plenty in that secondary. And a lot of dudes that wouldn't normally get the reps, getting that opportunity to get those reps this afternoon. And then again, coming up on Saturday, Kenny Moore is going to join us coming up in the probably 5 o'clock hour, I'd imagine, coming up after practice. Right here again, the final day of Colts camp in Westfield. And I also saw Matt Decken here. He was hanging out with Jake before the end of the show. And once again, Westfield does a tremendous job with this in and around Grand Park. So I want to tip the cap to those that are in and around Westfield that help put this together, because it always goes off so well. And Westfield, you know, you don't only have that going on right now, but seriously, like 2 miles up the road, you have at Chatham Hills the Live Golf Tournament, which is officially underway. And a lot of people are up there for that. So there is, or should be, a lot of congestion in and around the area. But I've said this before, and I'm a Southside guy, and I'm a Southern Indiana guy, and I'm never going to shake that loose. That's just the way that it is. But I could live up here, Westfield, and I know I'd probably have to go out and get another passport or a visa or something to be up here. They let me in occasionally in Hamilton County because I'm doing a live show or, you know, making an appearance or something. But, you know, they go, hey, I don't know. I don't know about you here, but I could stay. This is awesome up here. There's absolutely everything, and a shout-out to those that put on this event year after year, because it is always spectacular, and it has been so far. This is my second time up here. We only come up here for the afternoon practices, but my second time up here has been just spectacular, and we thank everybody for that here too. All right, I do have time. It is not really an opening monologue. I think I did a lot of that yesterday regarding the Fever. You know, we're not going to do anything else until they play coming up here again. You know, Pacer stuff, we're still in the process of going through the announcement of the schedules. Of course, that is on the inbound. We know how they're out of the gate. We know what they're going to be dealing with, and we know that they're going to be the underdogs. And you know what? As I mentioned before, I don't like the injury. I don't like the defection. I don't like the dialogue with the defector going to Milwaukee. I don't like that at all. You know, downplaying his teammates when you had significant issue. I thought that was a bunch of BS, and I always will. However, I still like this team a great deal. I do, and I like the fact that everybody else is saying, you know what, this is not going to be it, and does downplay them. I think it gives them even more fuel to the fire. It always seems like that's incredibly beneficial to them. And frankly, I dig it. I really do. So we can go that direction if you like it, 239-1070. If you don't want to, that's okay. As I mentioned, Mike Chappell is going to join us a little bit later on. We'll have a variety of people that are going to walk by and hang out. We'll get a Green Bay perspective coming up a little bit later on in the show as well. But there is a ton to talk about right now, even though the way that you look at it, there is a little bit of a lull. And you're going to say, well, wait, what are you talking about a lull? You got Colts camp and the joint practice and the Packers, one of the most popular teams in the NFL in town. You got the Live Golf Tournament going on 2 miles up the road. How can there be a bit of a lull? Well, we are kind of in that spot. And for me, I dig it, because you get to hang around and still do the things that summertime that you enjoy so much, but you know that this downtime is not going to play out too much longer. And then when you get into it, you're immediately thrust into the thick of it. Whether you're talking about the Colts and their season, they go back-to-back in the first 2 weeks at home, or you're talking about college football officially underway, and once again, just a tremendous thought on what Curt Cignetti and the Hoosier football program can do in year number 2 with a new quarterback. And really, I think what you go on is the results not only that he had a year ago with that team in Bloomington and really doing something for the first time in absolutely forever, you know, and being that recognizable and that much of a player in the elite level of college football, making that college football playoff. But as I've always talked about, I like, because he continues to follow the blueprint that he set up. And he set up that blueprint long before IU in Bloomington. He did that at James Madison. You know, you kind of witnessed that in how he decides on what quarterback he wants to quarterback his team. You bring in somebody that's got a great deal of experience. And we really saw what Curtis Rourke had a year ago. And that even goes back to James Madison. He did that a couple of different times with his two most successful team seasons at JMU prior to making that transition to Bloomington. But you saw with what Curtis Rourke did a year ago, and now you look at Mendoza as a guy coming in from Cal who has all this talent, yet was endlessly sacked and chased around offensively at Cal. And what does Cignetti do? He looks to solidify his offensive line. And talking to folks, and Phil Steele was one of those a couple of weeks ago when we had Phil on the show, talked about how he believes, after watching tape and watching some workouts, that this could be the best offensive line that IU has seen football-wise in absolutely forever. And again, that is all a part of the plan. You know, how you construct your team is paramount nowadays. And you saw that a year ago. You've seen that in basketball. You know, for some teams, a complete roster makeover is necessary. You know, Darren DeVries, necessary, right, in Bloomington? I mean, if you're going to go ahead and sponge it all out, go ahead and sponge it all out. And you're starting new. Yeah, no waivers were passed. Guys couldn't come back, so you absolutely start new. Whereas in West Lafayette, for what works for Matt Painter, you identify a couple of need areas, and then you go out and you get some bodies that you think will satisfy that. And you're already right now, you know, even before we start that basketball season, probably going to be in the top three. Yeah, if not number one in a lot of categories, rated number one by a lot of people. So you go with what works for you. That has worked over the years for Matt Painter. This has worked over the years for Curt Cignetti. And the other thing with Cignetti is the whole scheduling process. While others are going to look at it and say, hey, you're not going to play anybody until you play Illinois, how are you going to know? You know, this is something that Cignetti has done, and it makes sense. And you're going to say, well, wait, does it make sense to play teams that aren't any good and not find out about yourself? No, it makes sense because it's worked for you. And if it works for you, why jack with it? You understand? Like, I like doing this. And I've done this for how many years now? Since 2004, November of 2004. Hell, I can't even count that high. I can't do that math. But you know what? This whole thing has worked for me. You know, being me has worked for me. It may not work for some out there, but it certainly has worked for me because I come from the angle of being me and being genuine. You know, being something that I'm not has never, ever worked for me. And that's, when you look at coaches, that's what you want to do within your program. And then we can fast forward to where we are today. I'm assuming that's what the Colts want to see out here. You know, what you have in mind, what you have by design. And the problem that you have is you're trying to force into a situation, a quarterback, what has been for such a long time an incredible unknown. And if there has been something that has been known, it hasn't been good enough. If you're the Pacers, and I love that everybody's on board with this now, and believe me, you and I and us together, we have discussed this for years. Check that, months. We have discussed this for months. We actually came up with this brand of basketball, this style of putting together a team will ultimately be something that everybody else is going to grasp. Now, granted, Oklahoma City's been doing that quite well too. Sam Presti is probably state-of-the-art. Actually, there's no probably about it. It's state-of-the-art in doing that. But you can see that it's so much more about team orientation and fit. And you can no longer, especially with the good teams, you no longer say, well, it's just about this guy or that guy or the three-headed monster or getting the elite-level guys in. It's more about now making sure that you have a team, especially playing the way that you want to play on both ends, offensive and defensively, because you have to have guys you can run in and out to keep dudes fresh, but you also have to have guys that can play. That's been key. And I feel very secure. We were out front of that too. You know, I brought up the whole Sabonis angle yesterday with the crying about the officiating. And, when it goes wrong, when it goes bad, we were at the front of that. We're at the front of the line on this, too. It's one of the reasons why I look back at a year ago, this past year, this Pacer team, and it wasn't because it won at the absolute highest level. It was just so stinking enjoyable to watch because every single night, they went deep onto this team, and you had guys that could play. You had guys that had roles. You had guys and a team that played together. It's exactly when we're all born, that's what we're taught with a team orientation. That's what your parents say. I mean, I've given this analogy before. I mean, I believe Nathaniel, is James down at Holiday World?
Yeah, he is. Wouldn't it be nice if you and I were too?
Yeah, Holiday World's awesome, by the way, too. That is Southern Indiana's largest outdoor public bath. Were you aware of that? True story. I love it down there. But this is going to be a really gross analogy that I'm going to give to you right here. But it's kind of like when you come sliding like a water slide at Holiday World out of that birth canal, you're sliding right out of the birth canal. You're born. And automatically your parents go, hey, you're going to love sports, especially basketball in this state. You're immediately taught the team orientation. And that has just been so impactful to so many, especially in a cynical world of fans of the NBA that for whatever reason now still feel it and believe it to be otherwise when it is far from that. So that's what I love. And hopefully, again, this is crossing your fingers and hope, and I know everybody's kind of sick and tired of hope around here regarding that. But here's hoping one of these days that all ends up fitting. Here's hoping with the Colts, because it would be nice if we saw a little bit of something like that here at some point. All right, 239-1070 is that number. I'd mentioned this, Nathaniel, a little bit earlier. I've yet to get in it at, I should say, 317-239-1070. That is, are you in our text stream?
Oh, yeah.
Are you in there?
Text us.
You got it up right now? You got it up right now? I think I signed up for it. I think I saw it a little bit earlier. What do you think? The text stream, 317-239-1070. I love it when you call because I like the calling interaction much greater than anything else. But if you feel comfortable on the text stream, then as I say, playing basketball, if you feel it, deal it. Do it. 317-239-1070. That is the text stream. And I believe are we on video right now somewhere?
Absolutely.
All right, where am I? Am I on this computer right here in front of me, I guess?
Bottom right corner.
AAA Membership Lounge via YouTube Live. And shout out to our friends Matt and Matt. Thank you very much, Phelan. The AAA Membership Lounge via YouTube Live. Have us in there as well. All right, I mentioned this a little bit earlier. A shout out to both Damar and the Greenwood Rotary. I think Rotary Services, I really don't know what I'm going to be doing. But I do know this. When they told me, we want you to come and yap, and we're going to give you some beers, I thought, well, you know what? You called the right guy right here. Yapping and drinking is my forte. Really, I think I do that, and it's not like I have a great deal of knowledge. I just mean talking in general. I can yap. So yapping and drinking, you called the right guy. And I think they all know by now with my friend Sean Collinsworth and Damar Services, I will do absolutely anything for Damar Services because I love what they do. And speaking of impact, there is nothing more impactful than that. So I'm going to head down, and really it's about a half mile from my house, Mallow Run, the Sycamore. I think I'm going to be doing some yapping. And then some question answering, and certainly a little bit of drinking coming up after this show. So if you're a part of the Greenwood Rotary or the Rotary of Johnson County or Damar Services, and you want to come by and yak it up with me, that'd be fantastic. It's coming up after the show a little bit later on. Meantime, we're back in studio coming up tomorrow, and this is just kind of a precursor to what is going to be a very busy time. Late summer and early fall, arguably the most busy time around here, and that is always a good thing. Meantime, we do have afternoon baseball. I was watching the Cubs and the Blue Jays last night. Cubs and Blue Jays top of two from Toronto. no score. In a rain delay in Baltimore right now, the top of the 6th inning with the Orioles a 5-0 advantage over the Seattle Mariners. Meantime, everything is happening later on tonight. I don't know, Reds fans, what is up, dude? Bryson Meeks in the house, man. This is a sweet shooting left-hander. By the way, what enterprise do you work at?
Stop 12 and 31.
South Bluff and 31. Stop 12 and 31. I'm sorry. Stop 12 and 31, the enterprise location. If you need a vehicle, go in and ask for Bryson. He's going to set you up, right? We just hooped on Tuesday night, man. You're owning stuff out there. I look like I was about 79 years old out there. And Rick Clark's going off the wrong foot and throwing in jumpers. Seriously, if there was a building I could jump off of, I would have probably jumped off a building. Good to see you, Bryson. So Bryson Me, yeah, the Enterprise location on the south side right there. Ask for Bryson, friend of the show, great dude. His dad is a dentist. That'd be Joe. Shout out to Joe right there. That's excellent. Bryson, by the way, is a Ron Colley guy. Now, I was getting back to the Reds, too. Sometimes when you do things like you did in game number 1 of that series with the Phils, you're going, same old for the Reds. And then you get the last 2 games, and it makes you wonder a little bit. Now, granted, I mean, Milwaukee is just running all over everybody. It's insane. But it'd be nice if we could see the Reds at least close out in the final month and a half of the season and, maybe try to accomplish some things we haven't seen in a long time. Really not worry about what Milwaukee is doing, but worry about, what other wild card teams are doing, what those other teams are doing around you. So, again, I don't know if that's supposed to make me feel good about what they did in the last 2 games against the Phils. I probably feel a little bit more angled by what we witnessed in game number 1. But, man, Hunter Green looked outstanding in his time in the game last night. I do know that to be true. So here's to hoping. I think we'd all be better off, and you know this to be true in Cincinnati, not that you give a damn about what happens in the Queen City. But in Cincinnati, it'd be true if they could get something and something significant, something real that you can latch onto. And not just kind of these poof little dreams that happen and then kind of blow away in the wind. That's what we're used to. Like moments, these little moments. Colts fans around here understand the moments. You get used to moments. It gets you all excited. Only, how should I put this, Nathaniel? I think this is okay. Only to leave you with elephantitis of the package when it comes to the Colts, which you don't want. And I know for the past 10 years especially, Colts fans, for the most part, at least 8 of those, you've dealt with elephantitis of the sports package. You don't want that. So maybe a little bit different. And again, I don't know if the Reds are going to act as a precursor to anything, but I can damn sure tell you it would be nice. 239-1070 is the number. You can call. I will talk to you. You can send it via text stream. 317-239-1070 as well. Inside the AAA membership lounge via YouTube Live, I want to say today for AAA, if you're a AAA member, you get in the State Fair for free. I believe that is the case as a AAA member. I tell you all the time, man, AAA offers up all these great perks. Take advantage of them. Whether it's the Indians in the games that they have left, or Symphony on the Prairie, or hell, they got your back wherever you go. 24/7, 365 on the open road. AAA Membership Lounge via YouTube Live. Also the stream, the app, HD Radio, Colts Camp, joint practice with the Packers, Mike Chappell. We'll talk a little Green Bay angle for preseason game 2 coming up on Saturday. And from the Colts secondary, when this practice is complete, Kenny Moore is scheduled to join us live from Grand Park in Westfield for a final time on what is a glorious Thursday. Nathaniel Finch back in the studio, Phelan Watson, the on-site engineer, and you and I are Yip Yap, and you guys are going to give me the appetizer to Yip Yap and to drink a little bit later on tonight. We're going to Yip Yap together right here at 239-1070. It's 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan. Oh, thank you for joining us live at Grand Park for a final time. Packers-Colts joint practice going on. I can't be the only one that once upon a time thought that Wham Fest was like a festival where everybody got together in Greenwood at Craig Park and listened to George Michael and Andrew Ridgeley songs. No? I always thought that was Wham Fest, like Wake Me Up. And it's not. It's about wine and stuff. That's what's weekend, I believe, too, right? Well done, Greenwood. By the way, whomever just sent this regarding the elephantitis of the satchel, you incredible spelling. I don't know if you got spell check on that bad boy, but that's well done. I am officially inside 317-239-1070, our text stream, where we've got folks wanting to tank for Arch. Actually, there are a lot more, I think, people that want that than don't right here, to be honest. JMV, your caller 2 days ago was right. Shane Steichen is a coordinator, not a head coach. You need a head coach who can manage the complete team to bring out the best of all involved. I also wonder if Carly Ursay, if she has to confide in about the best course for the team. That is from Mike. I will say this, from what we gather so far, there is evidence to be had there, and I do remember that call a couple of days ago that suggested that. Hey, can I tell everybody?
No, you cannot tell everybody.
Alexa Ross has a secret. All right, 317-239-1070 on our text stream. You guys tell me if I should violate a confidence with Alexa Ross of Fox 59 and CBS 4 and tell her secret on the air. Nathaniel, I'll start with you. Can I tell her secret on the air? What should I do?
She's not stopping you.
You signed an NDA.
Tell her to put on a headset.
I'll sue.
I know. You don't want me to tell it?
See?
What do you think, Alexa?
Don't do it.
I think it's a pretty damn good secret, though. I swear, I tell you what, Nathaniel, I just had all these up here and they just all disappeared. I think it was because of me. Hopefully we're back right now. There we go. You want to tell everybody?
No.
You sure?
No, I'm just going to
I'm going to put you on the air and put you on the spot.
and I'll make
And give her a headset.
Will you get in trouble?
Probably.
Here. You want to give a headset? There you go. Alexa's going to join us really quick.
I can talk about the one-on-one.
Okay. I'm going to make sure you're on right now talking to that.
Okay, here we go.
Yeah, you're
Got me,
on. Yeah,
okay.
put that closer to your grill right there. There you go.
There we go.
Good to see you. The horn just went off. What's that mean?
Horn went off. I assume we were just wrapping up kickoff, which was what looked like it was happening, and it's why I'm over here right now.
Have I missed anything so far? Because I can't see a damn thing sitting where I'm sitting right now.
You missed a great one-on-one period for the Colts.
I did, and it was good for the Colts?
Oh, yeah. The Packers secondary got cooked.
Really?
Really. A.D. Mitchell with some monster catches. Both quarterbacks looked pretty solid, but there were really good catches. Anthony Gould got a really good Ashton Doolin catch. The A.D. Mitchell one garnered a lot of applause. He went over. He pumped up the crowd. Chris Widlick gave a hook'em for a fellow Texas guy. So, you know, it was a good
Chris
session for
Widlick
them.
went to Texas?
He did.
I didn't know that.
Now you know.
Huh. Thanks.
If you don't
Thanks
know,
for the
now
insight. Thanks for the insight. So which quarterback looked better in that one-on-one stage?
you know. Daniel was running with the ones, and the ones were looking stronger.
Yeah.
But I don't think that was necessarily a quarterback thing. I think that was more so a receiver thing.
Is this A.D. Mitchell stuff we see so far? Was this legit, or is it kind of like what we witnessed a year ago and then it kind of faded once the season got underway? This different?
I feel like this is a little bit more consistent of a training camp that he has had, and I think that having a more consistent training camp going into year two, I think that helps your confidence, things like that. But of course, you don't win prizes for being great in camp.
Darn right.
You have to. It has to carry over, and I think that so long as this continues, because he has had a really strong camp.
Understand. That's Alexa Ross, Fox 59 and CBS 4 is with us. I did want to remind you of this. The Pacers schedule has officially been released. Preseason games in October the 7th on the road at Minnesota. OKC and San Antonio. That's a Saturday and Monday, the 11th and the 13th in the preseason. And San Antonio, again at San Antonio on Friday the 17th. As we know already, they open up at home against OKC on the 23rd of October, and then the Pacers immediately hit the road for 3 straight at Memphis, at Minnesota, at Dallas. So you've got a Memphis team that has undergone certainly a facelift. You got Minnesota, which was in the Western Conference Finals a year ago and is legit. And you've got little Cooper Flag territory coming up in Dallas. But I mean, road game wise, with Memphis and Dallas, with some transition to be made, we shall see regarding that opportunity right there. But again, OKC on the 23rd to start. And let's see, I'm trying to look here.
Miles Turner comes back Monday, November 3rd.
Yeah, these are the Emirates Cup games. And, yeah, Miles Turner comes back November the 3rd. That's on a Monday.
That's a Monday night.
That should be fun. Is that going to be more enjoyable for fans or Miles Turner? I don't think it's going to be good for Miles.
I can't even begin to fathom how that's going to look.
It's
truthfully.
not going to be good for Miles.
That front court.
It's one thing, and it wouldn't have been good even with the defection. But with the dialogue after, that's what has pissed everybody off. And that's, if you want to identify yourself as the villain, you've done a hell of a job of it. The problem with Miles is he's not built for that.
No.
I mean, he is not built for that whatsoever. So
especially for
that strategy will backfire.
Especially for having survived, years, a decade of trade rumors and things like that, and was able to really solidify himself as that guy. So to have this happen, it's such a 180 from what we had seen.
I should mention, too, Atlanta's Friday the 31st, and then November the 1st, Golden State on a Saturday night at, I wonder what college football that will look like. That'll be interesting, too, with Golden State here in town. Miles Turner in Milwaukee, Monday the 3rd, and then Wednesday, the 4th and final of this homestand, sees the Pacers and the Brooklyn Nets, and then they go 1, 2, 3, 4 on the road out west: Denver, Golden State, Utah, and Phoenix. That will get you into mid-November right there. I'm trying to see how many. Alexa, can you see how many nationally televised games that they have? I don't have it.
That's what I'm looking into that right now.
I'm trying to see. There's OKC. Obviously, the initial one is. And
there are currently 9 nationally televised games on this season. I will let you know what they are in just one moment.
Including that first one.
Of course.
Versus OKC right there. But yes, the schedule release for the Pacers and other interesting dates for you coming up. Obviously regarding the New York Knicks. But yeah, the Miles Turner one is the one that everybody is kind of staring at just a little bit. I always like to look at a Pacers schedule on how it is in the final half month of March and into April here, and how doable that it seems. I will tell you this: the road games in April, if this matters to you, would include 4 in all: at Chicago, at Charlotte, at Cleveland. You get Minnesota at home, and then at Brooklyn, and then you close out Philadelphia and Detroit in April right there. So I always like to look at the end of the season schedule right there, end of the regular season schedule, just in case. All right, the Pacers schedule released today. You got an answer for us as far as?
Just those 6. I don't see the.
That's probably all that there will be.
As of right now. Or excuse me, 9 nationally televised games. 1 on ESPN, 4 on Amazon Prime, 1 on NBC and Peacock, and 3 on Peacock.
Yeah, we're going to have to go in there and probably dig up a lot more streaming channels to watch this season, too. See, you got the Emirates Cup games as well. The first one, they had that matchup with Atlanta, as I mentioned a little bit earlier, too. And 4 homestands at the Fieldhouse this season. That starts with that Atlanta game, as we mentioned, October the 31st, which is on a Friday. The nationally televised games that currently appear, which obviously all could change, as Alexa mentioned too, includes 1 game on ESPN, 4 games on Amazon Prime, 1 game on NBC Peacock, and 3 on Peacock as of right now. The Pacers host the Knicks on Thursday, December the 18th at the Fieldhouse. And we mentioned November the 3rd for that Miles Turner visit to start as a member of the Milwaukee Bucks. There you go. Alexa, anything else you want to add? Oh, yeah, I was going to ask you. That secret? No?
No.
Nothing?
John signed and I'm going to use your real name. John,
okay.
You signed an NDA.
I did.
And you know what?
No, I won't violate that. I was close. I was close, though, because I thought you'd get a kick out of it, but clearly you're not.
But, you know, maybe in a week. We can circle back in a week.
I understand. But it's a good one, though. It is. It was like a Wednesday night good one, of all things. Man, telling you, getting loose a little bit, getting wild, Alexa Ross. Right in the middle of stuff, too, all the stuff going on. Speaking of which, you got the Packers, Colts joint practice right next to us here, Westfield, Grand Park. Final day up here. Mike Chappell is going to join us to give us a summary a little bit later on. A little Packer angle. This is a team that is universally dinged up right now. We'll talk about that coming up at the top of the hour. And Kenny Moore is going to join us a little bit later on in the show as well. Grand Park, Westfield, thank you, Alexa, for joining us, too. The Pacer schedule we talked up, and 317-239-1070. The text stream as well as jumping on board at 239-1070. We'll chat you up. 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan. Help me out here. Corey Kinney sent me on X a picture of our live stream. Did I do the entire first segment with the live stream on my crotch?
That was the
like
first
this?
10 minutes or so. Then Phelan got it fixed.
That is my crotch right there.
That's your
isn't it?
crotch.
That's a good-looking crotch, though. That is. I'm sorry, I didn't know that. I didn't mean to do that. My bad. Now, did that make the AAA membership lounge via YouTube Live
I think the numbers skyrocketed.
more interesting because of that? That's awesome. I had zero idea. Hey, shout out to DJ No, who I went over and hung out with a little bit earlier, too, man. He was getting it done on the wheels of steel. I dig it. Not bad at all. Yeah, sorry about that. Hopefully you're not offended by it, too. This is from Joe. Hey, JMV, the Reds got a little bit of love on SportsCenter this morning. As I mentioned, I'm not ready to become a believer by any stretch of the imagination, but it always is better with winning than losing, everybody. How are you doing? Always better. And listen, I don't know if they're going to end up being worth a darn. And obviously everybody's trying to track down, and, yeah, good luck with that, Milwaukee and this heater they have been on, which has been absolutely incredible. But it is always better when you play well, and the last two, I thought last time you had a little bit of clutch hitting going on, or I should say late yesterday afternoon, early evening, a little bit of clutch hitting going on. Nothing wrong with that whatsoever. So, yeah, a lot of fun with watching that. I don't know what that ends up translating into, in all honesty. But, yeah, maybe a little bit of something. Jim McCann in Southern California sent me the Kevin Bowen video of the A.D. Mitchell one-on-one grab right there that Alexa was talking about a little bit earlier. I know at 317-239-1070 in our text scream, that'd be a good one. Who is getting number one reps quarterback? That would have been Daniel Jones today in preparation for Saturday. So as it was explained to us, and again, I can see basically from the 5-yard line on in, but from what I've witnessed so far, not too much, but they say both quarterbacks are fairly even, if not incredibly even, up until this point right now, which I think that's what they've said the entire time. So that is true. And we'll get a rundown from Mike Chappell, who is watching practice right now. Cannot wait for that. In fact, Pete Doherty's going to join us coming up a little bit later on from the Green Bay Press-Gazette. You remember him from a year ago. He talked up, actually, that was the Malik Willis game when we had Pete on. And I thought Pete was pretty spot on that assessment, at least against the Colts last year. But Pete's going to join us coming up here at the top of the hour. And the question that I have is not even so much about the matchup itself. It's just how beneficial it is for the Colts, considering there's going to be so many missing bodies for the Packers. Because this out here, you're hoping is substantial, but they're still missing some bodies out here too. So how much do you end up getting out of it with all those that are not participating either today or tomorrow? Hopefully so. But just makes you wonder. I actually brought that up yesterday because it does occur to me whether or not, you do get out of it. And believe me, the Colts need as quality and as high caliber competition for preparation as you can get. And hopefully you end up getting that out there. But it's not a foregone conclusion, especially in the preseason when you play teams that either don't play their guys or in the case of the Packers don't because they're injured. And you're probably going to be dealing with the same thing coming up next week. So we can talk about that. The Pacers schedule is officially released. We knew about OKC in game number 1, and then 3 on the road for the Pacers. November the 3rd on a Monday. You can mark that on your calendar if you are in the Miles Turner non-fan club, because his return with the Milwaukee Bucks, November the 3rd, is coming up. Chris Hagan of Fox 59, live, local, and late breaking right here.
Leave me alone. I have a real job to take.
It's good to see you, pal. There you go. He's out again. He's in and he's out. But that is the Miles Turner return game. And just a handful of games nationally, but nationally is a little bit different dynamically because you do have Amazon Prime, NBC Peacock as a part of it coming up this season too. We're going to have 90,000 different avenues to watch, which, as I've always told you about cutting the cord, that's where we're going. My friends, that's where we're going to find ourselves, and we're going to find ourselves even deeper into it as we move along. Speaking of which, we'll do so. Pete Doherty is going to join us from the Green Bay Post-Gazette, top of the hour. We'll talk a little bit more about the Packers and that preseason game matchup on Saturday with the Colts as they continue joint practices out here. Mike Chappell still to come. Kenny Moore on the show a little bit later on. Don't you think about going anywhere. The stream, the app, HD Radio, the AAA membership lounge via YouTube Live. AAA members and free to the Indiana State Fair today, from what I hear as well. You can check that out. And 239-1070 is the number, 317-239-1070 for the stream. If you want to text, you can do it that way as well. Hour 2 straight ahead, 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan. Hi, we're at Colts camp. Joint practice with the Packers going on right now. Our last visit up here. Kenny Moore is going to join us a little bit later on. 10 a.m. Colts pregame huddle. I got you with Casey Valier, Joe Wrights, Rick Venturi, Bill Brooks, all coming up on Saturday morning today. You know how fun Saturday is going to be. Are you guys ready to hear about the fun? Can you contain yourself another moment when you hear about all this fun? Hi, Matthew. Telling you. So 10 a.m. until noon, the Colts pregame huddle, touchdown town. I'm telling you, incredible. And then we'll head over to the game for a little bit. And then you get the JMV takeover, 6 until midnight on B105.7, the nation's only all-request show. And this weekend, it's nothing but the 90s. And this is something for the text stream right here. 317-239-1070. Give me, I only want the deep cuts or the forgotten classics of the 90s. I mean, anybody can give me, hey, Pearl Jam and Alive, or Smells Like Teen Spirit by Nirvana. Or here, where's Ida Kamosi, the Hot Stepper, or Diddy, and from Paperboy. I want the deep cut or the forgotten classics of the 1990s. Because we got nothing but the 90s coming up on the JMV Takeover Saturday night. Powered by Big Red Liquors. That's on B105.7. Meantime, on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline, he is so excited he can hardly contain himself right now. Covers the Packers for the Green Bay Gazette. I think Post-Gazette is what it is. Do I have that written right here? Pete Doherty joins us now. Hello, Pete. How are you?
It is the Green Bay Press Gazette.
Press Gazette. It's the Pittsburgh Post Gazette. Yeah,
that's correct.
The Green Bay Press Gazette is what we're talking about right here. Hey, this occurred to me yesterday, and I was talking to Joel Erickson of the Star, your counterpart, if you will, with periodicals of mine. And with the way that the Packers are as dinged up to the degree they are with guys sitting out, do you still get a lot done or learn a lot because that competition isn't there if you're the Colts? How do you gauge that?
Yeah, it's tough. I'm thinking that just reminded me, it was 2 years ago, and the Packers practiced against the Patriots, and whoever the Patriots, I think it was the Patriots, whoever their quarterback was at the time wasn't healthy, and so their backup handled the practice, and the Packers defense looked great, and it had a really average season. So it was really deceiving how good their defense looked that day. So, it's limited. You showed the one-on-one matchups, this pass rusher against Zach Tom, this receiver against this corner. You can still learn about, they can watch tape and learn off that. But as far as, like, the total success of the offense or defense, it's a lot different going against, Jordan Love than it is, going against Malik. So I don't know. Yeah, it's
because hey, Pete, I think that the Colts really need. It's important for them to get, I think, so much more than what the Packers, I think, are going to understand out of this entire thing. And I just don't know if they're going to get what is necessary for them in this matchup, either today or coming up on Saturday afternoon.
Yeah, their defense, for sure. The Colts defense, they're, just not having the quarterback there is so huge, And their offense, though, the Packers defense is mostly healthy. McKinney is an outstanding player, and he was first-team All-Pro last year, and he's not going. But most of all their other guys are out there, so they'll get a decent look from them. I'll be curious to find out. I did not make the trip down for the practice or for the game, but I'll be really curious to hear from my colleague who's down there on how the Packers pass rush looked against the Colts, because that's one of the big things the Packers have to worry about this year is, do they have enough rush to have a pretty good defense? And it's iffy whether they do or not.
Well, it's interesting, and Pete Doherty joins us, covers the Packers on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. The dynamic at play here is you have two, right interior linemen. You got a couple of new positions at center and right guard, but from what everybody that covers the Colts here so far talk about, that has been one of the more solid categories in camp, at least until this point. So, that's something from the angle of Green Bay, you guys will probably get to use as useful with trying to establish a pass rush that maybe has been non-existent or lack thereof for the most part, against an offensive line with some new bodies, but still pretty good.
Yeah, Kenny Clark, even though he must be 10 years in the league now, I think. He's had a pretty good camp, so, I'll be curious to know how he did against those interior guys. Devontae Wyatt's in his fourth season, former first-round pick. They're going to be blitzing Edgerrin Cooper a lot. So, they won't show that stuff in the preseason game because they don't want to put it on. Well, for one thing, Cooper probably won't play very much, and the other, they don't want to put it on tape for everybody to see. But I bet they'll do a lot of that stuff in these practices because the only people who are seeing it on tape are them and the Colts. So if you're watching the practice, which I guess you're not because you're on the air, but, they'll
I get to see about Cooper. 5.5. I see about 5.5 yards of it, which is about 5.5 yards more than you at this point right here with his tent destination
the
on
funny
that.
Thing,
so
when they have joint practices in Green Bay like they have one next week with Seattle, the sidelines are so packed with players, and then they have fans who they have some kind of promotional thing going with the team, so they'll have some fans, and you can see almost nothing these joint practices. In fact, when they do it next week, I might go. They package up stands where the regular fans sit. I might just go sit there. I think it'll be a better view of the practice.
He is Pete Doherty, covers the Packers on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. So is there concern regarding the multitude of injuries the Packers are going through right now, or this time of year, does it kind of ease your mind considering there's still time for them to get back for the start of the regular season and into the regular season itself?
Yeah, it cuts a couple ways because there is concern. For one, your quarterback's out, and even though it's his left hand and he's going to be back, before the season starts, they're missing today and that practice next Thursday. They're missing some really important work days, to get timing down and all that. I mean, these joint practices. The teams look at them as being more valuable than the actual preseason game, at least for their starting players. So they're missing out on that. And guys can get a little out of game shape, if you're out for 2 or 3 or 4 weeks. So I think the coach, short term, I think the coach is really concerned. But, if you really pull back and take a longer view of the season, it's probably a fairly low level of concern because all these guys out, all these starters, they have basically 5 starter, high rotation players who are out. It'd be pretty surprising if any of those 5 are not available for full-time play for the opener.
Yeah, considering just trying to make the playoffs and really do anything substantially whatsoever here. I mean, hell, finding a quarterback that's mediocre or better is like going to make people feel good around here. However, what's the view in Green Bay as far as the expectations with this group this season, Pete?
It's funny. I think the expectations are pretty high, are very high. But I think there's a decent segment of the fans who are wary a little skeptical about how good they'll be. And there's not a huge buzz around the team. Of course, there's huge interest. So the biggest thing in Wisconsin, they're a national team for a lot of reasons, including because of the 60s Lombardi's team and being on TV all the time back then. So there's still a huge following, but there's at practice, like the practices, they're not drawing crowds any bigger than they ever have, for the last 5 years, maybe even a little less. And then the Brewers are on this 12-game winning streak. They're second double digits and having this ridiculous season. So the buzz isn't as high as I would have guessed it would be, if you'd asked me like around the draft time. So I don't know. It'll be interesting. I mean, I was going to say, how they start will matter, but the NFL season's so long. If you start 2 and 3, that's not that big a deal. You can still have a really nice season. So, but there's not the buzz that I would have guessed, even though there are high expectations, and I think a lot of people are thinking that this coach and GM need to get this team deeper, make a pretty decent playoff run, or they should be on the hot seat if they don't. I think that's a large segment of fans probably think that.
Yeah. And whereas, you're waiting for Jordan Love to come back after that procedure. We're trying to figure out, and they're within my visual right now, watching Daniel Jones try to march the Colts down the field offensively right now, as they are inside the 5-yard line, Pete, right now. I'd give you some play-by-play, but it would not be worthwhile.
It is just practice. The funny thing with Daniel Jones is, I know he just gets hammered for how things went in New York. I'm not so sure he's not an okay quarterback, and he was just in a really bad place. He's got his weaknesses for sure. So, sometimes I think he just doesn't see guys and he throws picks. But I don't think there is ability there too. So I don't know. I kind of assumed when he signed with them that he'd end up being their starter. I don't know if that's how things are shaking out.
Yeah,
or not, but I would have guessed it been him.
It's funny, Pete. I thought all along, and they've kind of described this since they signed him as being a quarterback competition. I never really thought of it as a quarterback competition unless we discovered there was a wide gap or a wide berth between one and the other. And even with that miscue, and not even so much with the bent out of shape finger, the pinky finger last week in Baltimore, but just the miscue itself of not reading what is a very elementary, if you will, defensive set, not getting the ball out to the right person and taking that sack and putting yourself in harm's way. That was to the detriment of Anthony Richardson, but I still don't think it's going to be enough to propel Daniel Jones. So I guess I would be shocked if he ends up being the starting quarterback in week one. And I think also what would play a role is at some point he will be, because the biggest concern with Richardson, outside of what I just described basically on one play last Thursday in Baltimore, is his lack of availability, which always is in focus.
Yeah, and he's a guy who he's raw, and he needs all those reps. And, missing games and missing all those practice snaps for that, it's one thing if you've been in the league for 8 or 10 years, but it's another if you're a really young guy who was raw as it was coming out of college. So that's a tough road, and that's why, Jordan Love, he's not a young quarterback anymore, but he's not what you call a super experienced one either. And these snaps he's missing this week and next, it matters. Maybe by November, it won't feel like it did, but it mattered. But I think it matters for how they start the season for sure. These guys they need to work, because it's not like 20 or 30 years ago where they have all these practices. The CBA prevents or limits how many practices you have, so they really need this work. It's important.
That's Pete Doherty joins us. I was just kind of taken as you were talking right here. Anthony Richardson is now out with the team, and I think they had a fumbled snap the way that it looked, and then maybe an incompletion. I apologize because there are a number of asses in my way right now, Pete, that I can't see anything here. So
yeah,
I'm actually positioned in the right spot, but I'm behind a bunch of asses, so I can't tell exactly what's happening.
Yeah, that's it. Well, maybe some fans will take some video if they're sitting outside, and the two of us can watch YouTube this evening and see what happened at practice.
These are all reporting asses is what they are right here. Hey, before I let you go, Pete, before I let you go, and there's never going to be real competition here, but considering what the Brewers have been and what they could be, is there any early season competition? Is there a smidge between the interest levels of the Brewers and the Packers, or, around there, does it all just kind of mesh together?
More of the latter, but the Brewers they'll take up some of the oxygen if they, if they end up with the best record in the league, and if they can get really deep into the playoffs, that'll be huge. They haven't won a World Series in Milwaukee since 57 or 58. When the Braves did it, so they haven't had a team in the World Series since '82. So it'll be, if they made it, it would be huge. But the truth of the matter is, no matter how good the Bucks or the Brewers are, you know, if they're really good, they'll get their interest, and if they're not, then it falls off. With the Packers, there's interest no matter what. They're the king of the state. That's just the way it is.
It seems like to me too with that Milwaukee Brewers team, it's almost like you're sideswiped in a good way. Like that's how we felt down here with the Pacers in the postseason. I mean, you knew they were good, but you know all that happened in the postseason was incredible, and you just kind of ride the crest, if you will. And it's kind of like you thought the Brewers were going to be good, but holy crap, this good? You really didn't think, and you just kind of ride that crest with that team right now.
It's really strange. They I don't follow baseball that closely, but you know, for the last 5 or 6 years, they've had a good season, and then they lose a couple of their best guys. And they make a couple trades and sign some guys that, you know, at least not following baseball, I've never heard of these guys. And they come in and they're at least as good as the previous year. And this year they got off to a really bad start. They were like, I don't know, like 2-6 or 2-8. It was bad. And, you know, looked like, oh, they finally can't keep this going. And now this is the best team they've had since going back to 82 probably. So I don't know, hard to explain. I'm not sure. I don't know how sustainable it is even for the rest of the season, but they're riding a big wave, that's for sure.
It's Pete Doherty with us. He's kind enough to join us on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. Pete, we'll have substantial updates for you. Seems like running the football, well, obviously with Jonathan Taylor, that's going to work. Seems like, but you know, I mean, you can't tell in practices like this running the football, but that part looks strong, I guess, from this angle I have, basically the end zone angle. Pete, go ahead.
Yeah, well, no, I was just going to say you got to go by the track record of the backs they've had, and Taylor's a good back. So, because you're right, you can't tell in these practices because they're not tackling to the ground, so you're not seeing whether, you know, a guy might be in position, but in a real game he's not making the play because the back's too good. So you can't tell that much from watching these practices in the run game.
No doubt. And I gave you a shout because you kind of explained to us how you felt about Malik Willis going into the regular season a year ago, and between he and Josh Jacobs, things turned out okay in that game. So, yes, we remember that vividly from a year ago.
Yeah, that was that turned out to be a great trade. That helped save their season because he won them. He actually won them 3 games. He started 2 and won both of them. And Love got hurt at halftime down in Tennessee, and Willis came in and replaced. I think it was Tennessee, and Willis came in and replaced him and won that game too. And it was, I think they were down when he came in. So that really saved their bacon. He's I still question. I don't know that there's a, you know, people talk about, well, somebody signed him as a starter next year. I'm not sure that'll happen. But as far as backups in this league go, you know, he's about as good as you're going to do. So that was a really savvy trade they made last year in picking him up. They got him right after final cuts. They had to trade for him, but they got him right after final cuts.
Pete, I appreciate you, man, as always. I'm sure we'll do it again soon, man. Ride that wave up there, whether it's the Brewers or the Packers, once the season starts. Thank you.
All right, thanks for having me.
You got that? It's Pete Doherty right there, the Green Bay Press-Gazette on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. Look who is here in all of his white pants glory. My good friend Dan Moyer of Moyer Fine Jewelers. No, put that down right there. There you go. There you go. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing fine.
You all right, man? What are you doing out here? Watching a little bit?
Just came out here to hang out with some of the people from Westfield, get a view of the team here.
Now, is your location Carmel or Westfield? Is that officially where you are?
We are in Westfield.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Huh.
We have a Carmel address, but we're in Westfield.
Carmel address, but in Westfield. Is that like a constant battle? Is it like?
Oh, there's a lot
kind of like a
I think it's all based
war?
on the post office that takes care of you.
Gotcha. How are things going?
No complaints. Things are great.
We have a friend that ended up winning our tournament bracket and is absolutely thrilled.
Yeah,
friend
they
of
did
the
good.
show. I believe some magic, I think, is about to occur coming up here. I'll let you know with pictures and video too. I believe so. I can't let it all out right here.
I'm not so dead sure that it was either him or somebody won twice. one of the football things and one.
Yeah, I know. It was great. It was great.
That's a pretty good sports guy.
It really was. We're going to do that again this year?
Oh, sure.
Oh, it's Dan
We may have
Moyer.
to come up with a way to make it more exciting. I don't know what we'll have to do, but
Oh, you got it.
We'll take some ideas.
Well,
from
that's
you.
the big brain of you. That's where that comes in.
That's why I just said we might need some help.
Hey, everything else going okay right now?
Yeah.
Good.
We're doing an expansion of the store, so it's taking a little time, but business is good. Got a David Yurman event going on for a couple days here. So.
Big D Yurman's in the house.
Yeah, so a lot of appointments today and tomorrow for that.
Hey, Jimmy, what's up, buddy? Can we tell everybody, too, about we brought this up before the 500 with good reason because of Tag Heuer. But can we bring in your watch selection, which is absolutely unmatched, really quick, because I love it.
Well, yeah.
I've become a big
I thought we were
watch
going
guy
to do the show from the store, so you can have the whole watch selection there.
I do want the background being the watch selection right there.
Yeah, no,
you guys got the best
do the
selection
show
in
from the
town.
watch department.
Let's do that.
Yeah.
We'll get Joe Koppel somewhere listening right now. We'll put the wheels in motion to do that.
Yeah.
From the.
I mean, we're building kind of a new, bigger watch department. So
really? You have to because you've got.
That won't even
so
be all
many.
done until. Some will be done for fall, some will be done for spring. But yeah, I think we should do the whole show from there.
Yeah, I think we should too. Well, let's do that. I'll tell Joe, and we'll get on that. It's Dan Moyer Fine Jewelers in Carmel. Partner, friends, and if you need anything, let us know. But, man, drop back by. It's good to see you here.
Yeah,
I didn't know I was going to
you.
see you. I just saw you walking by.
Yes,
Had
it's
to
my
flag you
annual
down.
trip to the Colts camp.
Yeah, good for you, man. The pride of Westfield. It's our friends at Moyer Fine Jewelers. We talk them up all the time. Now, I say Moyer Fine Jewelers in Carmel. Is that okay? Or should I say
that's
Westfield?
the address, but,
Okay.
We're north of 146, so officially we're in
little
Westfield.
north of 146 right there. Matter of fact, I was right over by your place on Monday.
Yeah.
So I slid by Crafters for a minute on my way home and hung out there a little bit. But, man, it's always good to see you, pal.
Good seeing you. Thanks,
Dan
JMV.
Moyer Fine Jewelers, friend of the show right there with us at Colts Camp. We've got Kenny Moore joining us a little bit later on. We got Mike Chappell coming up, too. It's Greg Rexrod, Jeff Rickard, James Boyd. I see Joel out there, too, all right in front of us. Let's take a break, shall we? You and I on the other side. The text stream is up and going right now. Aaron from Minnesota is checking in. Aaron, I saw what you said about Sandman Wrestle at First Avenue in Minneapolis. Aaron's from Minnesota, and whenever Aaron can work in any First Avenue content, I'm here for it. I really am. Love First Avenue, obviously, from Purple Rain and Prince. So I'll read what you have. I've got that coming up for you. And again, our guests, 239-1070. If you want to jump on the show, we can. Officially, the Pacers schedule is out. We have gone over that. The return date for Miles Turner, November the 3rd, is a Monday night at Gainbridge Fieldhouse. So they're going to get that bad boy out of the way early. So you got that home opener all the way around against OKC, and then 3 on the road. And then you get the Atlanta Hawks back at home. And then November the 3rd, that matchup with Miles Turner, now a member of the Milwaukee Bucks. Quick break, we'll come back. The stream, the app, HD Radio, the AAA Membership Lounge via YouTube Live, and my bad on the whole crotch thing over there a little bit earlier. Hopefully that helped the numbers. It may not have. That and more coming up for you. 93.5, 107.5, The Fan. Of Colts camp with a joint practice with the Packers. This is the update I just got during the break. I went down and talked to Rakestraw a little bit, and this kind of plays into, we had Pete Doherty on a moment ago, who covers the Packers for the Green Bay Press-Gazette, and he had mentioned that the one thing that he felt that team was going to concentrate on is trying to find a consistent pass rush. Well, Greg had told me the one thing that really stood out more than anything else was the pass protection by the Colts. So with that in mind, and again, this is Greg's opinion, and I asked him really quick when I walked down there to try to get a summary of what's gone on so far. By the way, Mike Chappell's going to join us, a little bit more of that summary. Kenny Moore from the Colts secondary is going to be here. That is toward the end of the show. But Greg had mentioned that, and then Greg had also mentioned wide receivers winning in one-on-one. Not that the quarterbacks are standing out, wide receivers being able to win their own matchups also was something. Now, I don't know, did Richardson just throw a pick right there? I don't know what if that happened or not. I just saw the Packers going in a different direction. But anyway, that is what Greg had thought that, what's up, buddy? The first hour or so was of a level of importance regarding what we've witnessed out there. And again, Mike Chappell with a little bit more deeply detailed assessment of this joint practice. And then we'll talk to Kenny Moore from the Colts secondary a little bit later on. And this reminder to Touchdown Town for us, that is coming up on Saturday morning, 10 a.m. until noon. It is me, Casey Valier, Joe Wrights, Bill Brooks, and Rick Venturi. And what I love about this, and I'm looking at Rick because he's right over there in a chair right now watching these workouts, is that Rick is going to appear on the Colts pregame huddle with us even more this year than he has in the past, which is always incredibly valuable. What's up, man? Good to see you, pal. Good to see you, fellas. Thank you, man. Good to see you. But Rick, even more with us on the Colts pregame huddle. And we'll do another one coming up on Saturday morning, beginning at 10 a.m. That is in Touchdown Town, so you guys can come out and join us live. Coming up at 10 a.m. on Saturday morning. So the Pacers had their schedule released, and we were going over this a little bit earlier. We know OKC is that first matchup at Cambridge Fieldhouse. Then they go on the road for 3 straight. That is Memphis, Minnesota, and Dallas off the top of my head. And then back home in an Emirates Cup matchup with Atlanta. And on November the 3rd is the return of Miles Turner in a Bucs uniform. Now, the Pacers, as of right now, and again, things could change. As of right now, 9 nationally televised games coming up this year. Now, that's 1 on ESPN, that's the opener. 4 games on Amazon Prime. 1 game on NBC/Peacock, and 3 games on Peacock. So that's as it stands right now. But Pacers season starts that way. And we know about the whole Rivals Week 2. That is something that they're doing in the NBA this year. That has the Pacers in OKC. That is going into January. That's Friday, January the 23rd on an NBA Rivals Week. But the schedule officially out today, and that's the way that bad boy looks to this point. And we've gone over some of it, too. Most of you are just kind of, I think, in interest of the return of Turner. That is going to be early in the season. That's pretty funny right there. And, yeah, by the way, sorry for the old crotch shot stuff right there. Hey, the other thing that was mentioned, too, is I talked about with Greg regarding the Colts and this practice with the Packers today is, again, the wide receivers being able to win their one-on-ones. And we'll see if there's any level of interest there in how that goes. But being able to win their one-on-ones. Then again, Mike Chappell's going to join us with further detail of that coming up. Yeah, Rick Venturi, a lot more. Actually, Rick is out there right now walking around, observing some things which is always good. But we talked to Pete Doherty a little bit earlier, and he kind of agreed with my assessment of you don't really fully, if you're the Colts, get out of this what you're looking for because there are so many missing from this Packer team. That is the difficulty of, and that's really the difficulty of preseason because oftentimes you just don't have dudes in general that are practicing. Kind of the way that it goes. You coming on?
See you Saturday.
See you. Rick Venturi is going to have us on Saturday in the Colts pregame huddle as he's walking by right now. You coming on right now?
Yeah, you got a producer?
Yeah, why don't you? No, I'm producing. I'm engineering. I'm doing it all right here. Chris Hagan of Fox 59 joins us.
Am I on? Is my mic on?
You're on as hell.
What's this deal? I hear you've been having Alexa Ross on twice this week and not me. Have I been replaced?
I don't think you've been here.
I've been here. I was
when
here
she was
on,
here. You weren't here when
Sunday.
she was here. I was here on Monday. You were not here on Monday.
Next thing I know, she'll be invited to the pool party and not me.
We could invite her to the pool party, though.
Yeah.
If she wanted to. Are you coming back on Labor Day weekend, though?
You know what?
To the Paradise Day, Watson?
Is there a pool escapade on this Sunday? Because,
there is.
Because since the Colts play Saturday, I'm working Saturday. I'll be off Sunday. I can come down there.
Paradise Day, Watson is open on Sunday.
Plenty of beverages. What about sunscreen? How are we fixing
Plenty of sunscreen just for you. I think we've ordered a vat.
Do you know
of sunscreen for you that is 150?
You know, I'm not going to
UV
say.
ray.
Our newest member of the team, Bree Shackelford, was over there, and she said, "Hey, that guy in the light blue shirt with the headphones wanted to know if you were coming to the pool party on Sunday."
The light blue shirt.
Yeah. I go JMV. I go, that's JMV.
The guy in the light blue shirt. That kind of means, how old is she? She's not very old, right?
No,
so that means I'm probably not associated too much with the younger generation like that.
She didn't say that old man. That old man.
That guy in the light blue shirt.
There she is right there. Are you going to come to the pool party on Sunday? John is asking.
She might.
You know, if I made a list of all the times a female in my life said I might or maybe, and then went
that really means no.
That means like Jack Johnson.
But you do the same damn thing, though.
Who, me?
Yes. When you say I might or maybe, that means no too.
Well, you know, I heard a great quote from of all people, Ben Affleck, and he said I'm sure you get asked to do a lot of things too, and he said never agree to do something 3 months, 6 months from now if you wouldn't want to do it tomorrow. So that's what I kind of take in my mind. If I used to just always say yes to something in advance, and then that day would get there and I'd say, man, I don't want to do that. So I try not to commit to it. But if I do tell you I'm going to do something, that's the gold standard. If I say I'll be there, then I'm there.
I understand, though, but isn't that different, though? If you're looking further down the road, maybe.
We know, John, when you get to be my age, you start to value your time, and you kind of think about, what do I really want to do today? And it's good that you, like me, most days you wake up, we're fortunate enough, you can decide what you want to do that day. You don't have to have any, other than work, you don't have any things that you must do this today. Am I wrong in saying that?
No, I agree. I do. It's like me and just, doing radio stuff.
Besides growing out luxurious hair and losing weight, what else do you have to do?
I don't know, man. That's a good question right there.
Have you seen any of these plays out here you've been watching?
I can't really see too much right here, so it's difficult. I get about a 5-yard window.
I've seen number 5 throw a couple of costly picks.
I've seen that too. That's one thing I thought I saw. A couple of costly picks. So I will ask you this. With what is being witnessed out here, does that hold more in terms of the decision in week number 1 as a starter than Saturday afternoon does?
Well, I think you see a lot more reps here than you will in the game. And also the personnel you see out here is more indicative of what you'll see in the game. Because when you're out there, you're never out there. Let's say when Richardson goes out there on Saturday, he's not going to be out there with the ones, probably not playing against ones. So what you see here, real work, in a controlled environment when you can say, okay, I want to see how you do in this situation. I want to see how you do. There's Tim, my counterpart from up in Milwaukee. He's a legend up in Milwaukee.
Is he really?
Yes, Timmy Van Voorsen. He looks like Rick Springfield. He
does kind of look like Rick Springfield right there.
It's funny because when if you go out there and play 3 possessions, maybe you don't see all the looks you want to see. You don't see the situations. Or out here, you can put them in those situations. And, I mean, you still see that you can see why Richardson was drafted fourth overall. and then you can see why there's some questions about him being the starter. You can see that all in a couple of different plays.
Has Jones thrown any picks out there so far?
Well, John, unlike you, I wasn't sitting there with my notebook logging every play.
Well, I mean, everybody else is out there. Why shouldn't you?
Because I like to kind of meet and greet the people and say hello and do a little yip-yapping with folks. Come over here and talk to you. I could just tell you that the two bad picks I saw were from the same guy.
Oh, was it? What's up?
I did
see you, pal.
On one play, a little wheel route, Richardson laid it right in the bucket for Pittman.
Yeah.
And Pittman dropped it.
You know, that's been interesting because he's dropped a few in camp so far, which is not something that we have known him to be in his career so far.
It reminds you of how football is the ultimate team game. You need the protection. You need the quarterback reading it. You need the throw, but you also need the catch. You can't have 3/4 of a good play and get any credit for it.
So Riley Leonard is really about 20 feet away. Do you think he would rather be doing that or talking to us right now? What do you think?
I think he'd rather be back down on the Gulf Coast of Alabama enjoying some shrimp.
Is he from Fairhope, Alabama?
There's David Thornton right there, one of my all-time favorites, looking the other way. And still looking.
So Riley Leonard's from Fairhope, Alabama.
Yeah, my buddy who's a coach down there coached against him.
And now,
also he's a good.
And he had a combination. Phillip Rivers also from Fairhope, Alabama. Is he not?
No, he's from Athens, Alabama.
But he lives in Fairhope now, doesn't he? Yeah.
And Riley was a good basketball player too. My buddy coached against him. So just one of those guys. You give him any kind of ball and let him go. He's an athlete. Kind of like me, John.
Wasn't Jimmy Buffett? Did he have a home in Fairhope, Alabama too?
Yeah, Jimmy Buffett was born in Pascagoula, Mississippi. Alabama. The Gulf Coast of Alabama tries to take credit for Buffett.
Oh, okay.
But he's from Mississippi, much like me.
I thought that he had a home in Fairhope, Alabama before he passed away.
Let's be honest. Buffett could have a house wherever he wanted to.
He could, yeah. No question.
Think about the generational wealth created by these four people who were all born in Mississippi. Elvis Presley.
Yeah.
Oprah Winfrey.
Okay.
Jimmy Buffett. Jim Henson, creator of the Muppets. I'm talking about billions upon billions of dollars created by those four.
And we really only associate maybe two of those people.
That's right. You don't,
with Mississippi.
You think Oprah, you think Tennessee because you got. You think Memphis when you think Elvis because he moved there when he was like 16. Like I said, Alabama tries to claim Buffett, and who knew Jim Henson was born down on the Gulf Coast of Mississippi, but he was.
That's nice. Chris Hagan of Fox 59 joins us. Colts joint practice with the Packers going on right now. Actually, probably will end what time? 5:30, something like that.
About 15 more minutes, getting in all the work, and then you. One thing that concerned me that I saw here again, the coverage on punts and kickoffs. Have been problematic. I just saw a punt that they blew the whistle on to knock it down, but it had already been like 30-yard return.
And we have not seen Brian Mason's crew cover themselves in glory so far in the preseason.
You know, I will talk to him. Our Blue Zone on Saturday. The game airs on CBS 4 at 1. We got a Blue Zone at 12:30, and I will talk to Coach Mason. That day, we'll have that in the pregame show, and I'm going to ask him that very thing.
Is your lead going to be, why is your squad so screwed up right now?
I'm going to say, hey, who's teaching the tackling? We got to get some tackling going on.
It has been a problem. I mean, that was going back to last Thursday night in Baltimore. Had it not been for, the east to west pointing pinky and the bad decision right there, that would have been the conversation.
Well, it's it's not always tackling. It's positioning. It's about lane integrity. You got to fill those gaps. You got to be where you're supposed to be, and sometimes the tackling will take care of itself.
All right, quick break and we'll come back. You want to hang for a little bit longer, or you got to go back out?
Be on TV. I think you should make Stephen Holder come over here and talk to you.
No, he's observing right now. I don't want to interrupt his observance.
Look at that look, Stephen.
Practice.
Stephen gave me the look.
And he goes, man, come on. All right, thanks, Chris.
I see you, bud.
Chris Hagan, Fox 59, with us. Colts camp, final day, joint practice with the Packers. Kenny Moore, Mike Chappell still to come. Don't go anywhere. 93.5, 107.5 The Fan. Cream City. That's November the 3rd with the Pacers schedule. OKC to open at home, and then 3 on the road in Memphis, Minnesota, and Dallas, and then back at home in an Emirates Cup game against Atlanta. November the 3rd, the Milwaukee Bucks on a Monday night. And that return of Miles Turner. And as Nathaniel Finch back at the studio points out, man, Nathaniel, I want to say something so much right here, but I won't. As Nathaniel Finch points out, that they have as many nationally televised games as of right now. And you said Sacramento, Phoenix, and Portland, correct?
Yeah,
that's
right.
in the category. The rest of that's the interest level the NBA schedule makers apparently have for the Pacers. Portland, Phoenix, and Sacramento. Is that what you said?
And Atlanta has 4 more than Indiana does.
What a bunch of dumbasses, seriously. I'm telling you, I'm excited. I'm excited by this because they're going to make people eat it. They're going. I know I may be the only one in this category. I may be the only believer here, but they are going to make people eat it. They listen, not to the tune of Eastern Conference Finals, maybe not even winning a postseason series, but they're not going to be as bad as everybody thinks, including the NBA schedule makers. I dig it, I do. I also will tell you this. The more that they're on Pacers TV here locally, the more I don't have to jack around and find them at 9,000 different places as we're all going to have to do this season. That's good. Makes me feel good. So we know. But that is the Pacers schedule and the NBA schedules that came out a little bit earlier today. Actually, I think when we first started the show at 3 o'clock, that's when they started. Kenny Moore, Mike Chappell, both coming up in the 5 o'clock hour. Final day of Colts camp. A joint practice with the Packers is about set to conclude. We got you covered coming up next. And again, where you can join us on Saturday, you'll want to. That and more coming up. Don't go anywhere. The Stream the App, HD Radio, the AAA Membership Lounge via YouTube Live, 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan. And Mike Chappell coming up in just a little bit, too. Colts camp final day. Again, shout out to everybody here in Westfield and around Colts camp. I was out here for 2 days. But as usual, you got that, and then you have Live Golf, which is going on underway, I think officially tomorrow, about 2 miles up the road at Chatham Hills. You got all this stuff and the buzz going on, and everything is cool as hell here. I really like it. And I will say this. Matt Conti does such a great job. And you got to understand, I say whatever I want, whatever opinion I want, and nobody ever gets bent out of shape about it. And they always end up getting us content, personalities for the show. I appreciate that very much because others don't work in similar fashion. Hell, others don't work when you talk good about them. But they're always strong with it. So I appreciate that more than they know. And listen, you guys aren't going to be fooled by it. We don't live in a world any longer where you can be fooled. I mean, hell, you see it. You understand it as much as we do. But it is cool that that is understood from a professional football team here. Nicely done. But they have done a fantastic job with this. Kenny Moore is going to join us in a second. I should mention afternoon baseball. Cubs were out to a 1-0 advantage on a Michael Busch home run. I think his 25th of the season. Check that, 24th of the season a little bit earlier. But Vlad Guerrero Jr. goes yard with a runner on. Blue Jays now 2-1 last check. Bottom of the 8th inning in Toronto. I think that's the only game ongoing right now. The other one this afternoon was in a substantial rain delay with the Orioles over the Mariners. But I know Cubs fans are probably paying attention to that. And Michael Busch, by the way, has been really good for the Cubs this season. They have just absolutely hit the wall. And the Blue Jays have been every bit as good as anybody else across the Major League Baseball landscape this season. I love it because they have so many legacy guys on their team. But if you check out their lineup, so many legacy dudes on it. And Vlad Guerrero is pretty state-of-the-art as well. 2-run home run. That is the difference right now as they get set. Last check, bottom of the 8th inning, 2 outs, and the Jays do have a runner on third. But Cubs got a little ground to make up here. We shall see as to what length that will be coming up here in the top of the 9th inning. All right, we got that. We got what's going on here. We got our guest coming up in the 5 o'clock hour. Cannot wait for that. And we also have coming up for you as well the Pacers schedule. And the Pacers schedule has been, sorry, Matt, about that. The Pacers schedule has been released. And we talked at length about that, the start of the season at home against OKC. As I mentioned, 3 on the road with Memphis, with Minnesota, and with Dallas, and then back at home against Atlanta. They get Miles Turner and the Bucks, and that is not, it's oddly enough not a part of the whole rivalry series with the NBA. But I'm going to get to that point in just a second, because Miles and Milwaukee, that return in Miles Turner in a Bucks uniform happens November the 3rd on a Monday night. But Skivvies had asked me, why is that not a part of the rivalry with the NBA? And here's why. Because the NBA does not view that as we view that. Quite simply. That is more meaningful here and with the Bucks, and probably only has NBA landscape impact there and just not here. It's just not what people care about in the NBA. Not at all. So that's it. And you can tell by where the schedules are as of right now as to why that is the case. But it's just not the same here as it is elsewhere. And until further notice, that's really probably how it's going to end up being. But that's where it is right now as far as the Milwaukee return of Miles Turner is concerned, November the 3rd. That is on a Monday evening right there. We shall get the latest here from Colts camp. The joint practice with the Packers is now ending as everybody sets up and gets ready to converse. Yes, listen, I look at the Pacers schedule. You guys are asking me, what do I like? It's tough to eyeball, especially given the Pacers situation. But I always kind of look at the end of the season. And the end of the season, at least eyeball-wise, looks like you can navigate that. I don't have a problem with it. Greg writes this, JMV, not only Peacock and Amazon really aren't even nationally televised games. I would buy that. I'm not really worried about it because the less of that, the less I'm going to have to try to track down and get streams and buy this. I think I already have Peacock, but hell, I don't know if I have Amazon Prime. I'll have to check. And the less of that, the better for me. I just want to be able to hit a button and boom, there it is. Hopefully that's the case. Yeah, this is Skivvies. Yeah, JMV, the NBA should have put the Pacers-Bucks in rivalry week. That is dumb. Yeah, as I mentioned, I just don't think that it matters to the rest of the NBA as it might to us, if that makes sense to you. I just don't think it is nearly the same as it might be here. And frankly, it isn't. JMV, what do you gather from this joint practice earlier today? What I gather is what I was told by Greg a little bit earlier. That's about it. That the wide receivers made some plays. The offensive line protected well. And said you had a couple of quarterback interceptions, I think, with Richardson. I don't know if they were in the books as them, but that's what had been talked about. And really, that was kind of it in the joint practice. And we shall see. I see 23 coming over here right now. And then Chris Hagan. Chris is trying to take him away. Phelan, go ahead. Hey, what's up, man? Good to see you, Kenny. How you doing, man? Right over here, if you don't mind. Right there. I'm sorry. There we go. From the Colts secondary, 23 is in the house. Noted IndyCar fan from that Colts secondary, Kenny Moore, is with us. How you feeling?
Great. How about yourself?
I mean, are you feeling? Yes. Because I saw,
yes, I am.
I was kind of involved in that avalanche in X and social media the other night when everybody freaked out.
Yeah.
I think you sent something that was kind of meant personal, and obviously
That's
everybody
right.
kind of takes that in the form of your football on the field or off the field.
I mean, that's the thing that I necessarily don't really like about sports. They feel like everything you do is intentional to the game.
Yeah.
Like, I don't really respect that part because I have a life too. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
I can talk about other spaces. I just recognize that I was like, dang, this was bad timing. But
it was.
I do appreciate the support, though. I will say that I appreciate all the supporters of the Colts and the organization. And the
Hey,
players.
Kenny, that's how you have to look at it too, because that's the territory.
But still,
right
though,
now.
you can't assume what I'm talking about. But
No.
it was
But
bad
people
timing.
will.
Yeah, it was cool. But I do appreciate it. I said something like very sarcastic to somebody, but I mean, I'm a lighthearted guy, so.
So will you do something for me tonight? Would you go home, or you're not going to go home, but wherever you're going, would you tweet out JMV is, and let's see where that thing goes.
JMV is.
JMV is. Can you do that for me and see where that goes?
I can do that.
I kind of want to see where that goes.
I'm a man of my word. I can do that.
If people can do that for me. I thought about that last night just because I saw that, and this happens with professional athletes across the board. So it's just.
I mean, that's really on me. Like, I should have thought more on the situation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's more than just what I want to put out or I want to express. Like, people are going to have their own assumptions, and they're going to take it in many other directions. So I just got to be alert on stuff like that.
You like social media?
Not really. Nah. I don't like the way social media has the journey of social media. I feel like if we were just expressing just because we genuinely wanted to express, me taking a picture here with JMV and then, you know what I mean? Like, but now it has to have some type of purpose, or it has to relate to something that everybody else care about, which I don't necessarily want to do anything that everybody else care about. I'm just going to express because I want to express. So.
Would you be active on social media if you weren't a professional athlete?
Would I be active?
Would you be
I would
active?
be a lot more active.
Would you really?
I would be more active.
Because I say this, I wouldn't if I didn't do this.
I would be more active on social media because I would feel like everything wouldn't be in the spotlight. Like, everything I do wouldn't have an opinion for a lot. other people.
Yeah. When's the last time you had a significant opinion on social media that you actually meant it? I mean,
An opinion?
Yeah. Just what was it?
Like, give me an example.
Sports-wise, maybe a Pacers opinion, maybe IndyCar opinion, because I know you're a big IndyCar fan.
I mean, that's usually the only time I'm really giving out opinions. If I'm watching a Liverpool game, or if I'm watching a Dortmund game,
Sure.
watching IndyCar or the Pacers play, like, that's really the only time where I'm giving out some information where I want people to, like, candor about. So other than that, I just, talk to myself. I just express who I am.
So Kenny Moore with us. How's your health?
Great.
Let's express that right here.
It's great. I can't really talk about injuries, you know what I mean? So
I know. Well, that's all you have to do is say it's great and it's all good. That's pretty.
I mean, yeah. I don't know.
There's nothing wrong with that right there.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. So you get that a lot, I'm sure.
It is.
Yeah.
But no, back to what you were saying. I don't really like social media.
Yeah. You're in deep thought right here.
Nah, you asked me about my injury.
Kenny Moore and
you asked me about my injury, but
are you
we're gonna be back soon.
You trying to put something together that you can say to me? Is that what you're doing right now?
Nah.
Cobbling something together?
I mean, you just asked me about something that. I mean, there's HIPAA out here. You know what I mean? So
Yeah. Well, I just and you answered it. I'm feeling great.
I'm feeling great.
And we'll see. So, how do you think this defense looks so far? How do you like Lou Anarumo?
I love him. Genuinely. I'm not just saying it, but I do love him. I like what he represents. I like the way he approached the game. I like the way he approached work every single day. And he's a very intentional guy as far as being detailed with all the little things. He looks at all the small things, and that's something that I appreciate, just from being a competitor, because you just want to be your best. A guy that has a role on his team, you just want to be pushed in the right direction. So he's the right guy for the job.
Is he have a secondary lean in his philosophy defensively?
He has a what?
A secondary lean. I mean, is there a lot of focus?
A lot of focus.
There is in general on you guys.
No,
but I mean even more so.
A lot of focus in the secondary.
Yeah. Like, can you give us an example?
I mean, he has a heavy defensive background. So I mean, that's pretty much just his resume. So that should tell you what it is.
It's almost like it feels like it gives you more of an opportunity to do what you want to do, and that is make stinking plays out there.
I mean, I'm not gonna say I have my way or I had the green light.
Well, let's hear about it.
But we wanna get closer to that.
I think that's the reason why you bring that up is because you're having your way and you have the green light.
No, I'm not having my way. For anybody listening, I'm just trying to do what's coached to do, and I'm trying to be the best that I can be with whatever role I have for this defense.
Well, can you tell us how does your role differ from a year ago, for example?
I mean, my job is just different. I won't be in the box as much in the run game. I feel like I was really heavy in the box in the last couple of years, and being a 5'9", 190 guy, it kind of wears on you. And I had a couple shoulder. I came up with some shoulder stuff last year, so that was some of my injury history, if you wanted to know. But
I'm not going to violate HIPAA.
So that was pretty much the difference between the last defense and the current one right now. So it's more running. I leaned out this offseason to run more, to be more efficient while I'm running and feel good about it. I'm on the perimeter a lot. I'm moving around a lot, and I can be aggressive in a lot of different ways, a lot of different plays. So I'm confident and I'm ready to go. Just gotta get some habits out so I can be coachable, and I just want to be my best for Lou.
Is there any different feel about this group so far through camp than maybe you didn't have a year ago outside of what you explained defensively?
What did I say defensively last year?
I don't know. Nothing. No. I just mean with the feel of the team. I guess
I feel
considering
great.
The results of a year ago.
Okay, that's better.
Thanks.
I feel great. Whatever the results lay out this year, we got our foot on the pedal right now, and we're working really hard. We're trying to put the pieces together to get the results that we want this year. So I'm feeling good about it. Every day at practice, I'm just trying to be more intentional. I'm just trying to be more in the moment with the work itself. So not really trying to be transactional that I'm going to get something out of it, because with hard work, you don't really see the results right away. You know what I mean? It's no different than looking good or losing weight, whatever it is, you don't see it right away, but you just got to keep depositing. And those days where it's going to be hard, you will deposit so much where it'll come back tenfold. So,
did you approach the season any differently at all than you used to?
The season, I mean, there's a lot of different ways you can approach the season. I mean, your personal life, your friendships, business. There's a lot of different ways that you can approach the season because
Can I
all those
opine
things.
here, by the way, and jump in?
Yeah, you can.
I think you look more in deep thought than I've ever been around you before. Like,
why you say that?
I don't know. You just seem like you're more in deep thought.
I'm just trying to be more in the moment.
You're more like you've never been.
I'm trying to think about your questions and answer.
Well, I don't know if you've ever been in that. Maybe I've just asked jackass questions in the past. Maybe that's been.
Maybe you've gotten better at asking questions.
God, that could be it.
That could be. We both
got
getting
my
better.
fingers crossed.
We both getting better.
No, you just look like you're in more deep thought than you ever have been here.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Does that come with maturation, growth, in what you're doing at all?
Yeah, that come with time, but with time, you just gotta be. You gotta have some type of realization. You can't. It don't come with time just because you're getting older. You gotta be intentional about the time. So. For me, I don't know. Like I said, I'm just trying to be more in the moment this year.
He is Kenny Moore with us. He's on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. How'd your off-season go?
It went well. It went really well.
What'd you think? You Pacer guy? Were you with the Pacers?
I am a
that run?
Pacer guy. I'm an Indiana guy.
What'd you think about that? That was fun as hell, wasn't it?
That was. It was great to support them and see how far they've. I like the togetherness from the team. I like how close and the chemistry
call.
from the group.
I love the whole team concept. Which is funny, as an NBA fan, I'm sure you are, sometimes gets lost.
That's right.
But that was reestablished, really, with both the Pacers and OKC in that
That's
final.
right.
They're both rock-solid teams from top to bottom.
That's right, and it was cool to see. It was cool to be a basketball fan, especially when the Pacers were doing their thing, because you saw a lot of good things. You weren't just seeing Halliburton do this, that, and the third. I mean, he made some spectacular plays. Don't get me wrong, but the team itself, like everybody who touched the floor, was giving something the right way, and that was cool for me to see as an athlete.
What do you think about this IndyCar season to date? I know you're a big IndyCar.
I haven't really, been tapped in with the whole IndyCar thing, to be honest.
Yeah. Alex Palou, incredibly good.
That's right.
No doubt about
That's
that.
Right.
And being dominant.
Mm-hmm.
Jim Irsay passed away back in May.
Rest in peace. Yep.
How impactful was he on your career, and probably now still is impactful on your career?
I mean, I just think it was a man of doing a lot when no one really had to be around. I think it was a guy who showed up each day, and no cameras had to be around. You didn't have to know what was going on. You just know that he was doing the right thing. So for me, I mean, you're gonna have your adversity down the road. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're gonna face that regardless. But with that, he attacked it and approached it in the right way, and he gave with his heart. So for me, as a giver, it was incredible to see.
Genuine. I
That's
always
right.
think about that being genuine, through the
That's
good
right.
or the bad or the indifferent.
That's right.
Incredibly genuine, and we will miss that dearly.
Yes, sir.
To me. So Kenny Moore with us. What do you expect out of this group this year? Got any expectations on your mind before we close here?
I don't.
You don't?
I don't.
Nothing at all? How about yourself?
No, I just want to attack the day daily and be in the moment. I just want to be purposeful the way I step. So.
Well, I know you got to run. I was going to write down what day you're going to attack here relatively soon. Really attack. I can't wait to see you back out there.
Like get back?
Yeah. But
No rush.
I don't want to violate rules or.
Yeah, no. I'm gonna get back whenever I'm supposed to be back, and I can't wait to be back. So whenever day that is, I'm gonna be ready to go. I can't wait. I just got to do everything I'm supposed to do right now to be able to be back. You don't want to get back and have to throttle back down.
Is it tough to not be involved out here right now at all?
I can't say yes
What they
or
call
no.
it, fear of missing out, I think is what that is known.
Nah, I don't really have that, but cause with that I can still cheer on my brothers. I can still be a support. I can still maximize my role if I'm not actually on the field. There's other aspects to be a great teammate. So But it would be nice if I was out there.
All right. Well, we can't wait to see you back out there
Yeah, I appreciate
again,
it.
too, man.
Thank you.
JMV is. So the responses to that will be more positive or negative, you think, when you send that out? This is like a test
Okay.
we'll do here.
Like, am I supposed to like
Yeah,
wait
you want to say
around for
JMV
reviews or
is?
what?
I don't know. We'll see. We'll do
I
a little
don't
test.
really wait around for reviews or comments. I just post what I want and then I
Oh,
just
do
get
you?
off. Yeah. So like, do you want me to?
Well,
Like,
I'll get on there and
check
look.
back in? Okay.
Because I bet there'll be more negative. Would you?
I'm not sure I'm not sure how you approach your workforce. So
I have a lot of fun doing what I do.
okay.
Like I probably.
And you think
have-
that's negative?
No, I just think that we kind of live in that world, in social media, where it's going
I
to be
mean, not
negative
always.
regardless. I think I could be the most positive
Negative
dude,
regardless?
most fun-loving dude out there, and somebody's going to go, "Hey, I got a problem with you being so fun-loving."
I mean, everybody not gonna like you. So
No, there's no doubt about that.
it sounded like you said most people would say.
I'm trying to bring people together with fun and enjoyment.
Oh yeah, do that. I'm sure you'll have a great reaction.
I don't. JMV is. You got it?
Okay, cool.
All right, man. Kenny, it's good to see you, pal.
Much love.
Get back soon.
Yes, sir.
All
All
right.
the best.
Kenny Moore right there. Quick break. Mike Chappell is on deck. He joins us coming up on the other side. 93.5, 107.5 The Fan. Done. Packers Colts joint practice. Final day at Grand Park. Preseason game 2, 10 a.m. at the Colts pregame huddle with me, Casey, Joe, Rick, and Bill all coming up on Saturday morning, 10 a.m. in Touchdown Town. Joining us in full detail of today's practice from CBS 4 and Fox 59, it is Mike Chappell. What are we thinking about what we witnessed here today, Mike?
We're thinking that today was the last day in Westfield, so I'm going to drive home and not come back up here.
That is that?
We have priorities. And
yes.
The practice, uneven for the offense. Too many pre-snap penalties, false starts, guys in the backfield, the tackles lining up too deep, a couple of botched snaps on the second team. So not a great day. Too much pressure on, I don't care whether it was Richardson or Jones, too much pressure in 11 on 11. So not a great day, but then they finish. AR went down there and had a really good, it was like a minute 12 to play, and you've got the ball at your own 40, and they went down and scored a couple of big throws to Pittman and Tyler Warren, and then Jonathan Taylor with the touchdown. So it finished well, but overall, I don't know that I want to credit Green Bay for playing that well. I just thought the Colts front line didn't play well today.
Now, it was explained to me. I think Greg Rakestraw had told me that the wide receivers in one-on-ones did a really good job.
They look really good.
Yeah.
Again, A.D. Mitchell, Pittman, Downs, and also what we're talking about, Josh Downs left mid-practice. He grabbed the back of his leg, left hamstring, and those things, they can linger. I don't know. So, but, I thought they did really well one-on-ones. It's when they get in the team setting that just too many botched, self-inflicted wounds they had. They need to clean up.
This do a lot of good, you think?
Sure. I wish. You mean this or the camp?
I will start here and then go with the camp.
Yes, of course. It's always better when you can get out there with another team. You know, last week with Baltimore, last year with, what was it, Arizona, and I think Cincinnati. It always is beneficial to go against somebody else, and then you'll play them on Saturday, and we'll see how much starters play. Jones starts and plays a couple series, and then Richardson finishes the first half, has to play. He needs to play a lot of reps. We'll see about the rest of the starters. Jonathan Taylor, maybe a series or two. But, I handled him like I handled Edgerrin James.
Yeah.
I want to see a hit or two on him. Not a lot. So, by and large, very good. I think they're as ready as they can be. I wish by this point they knew who their quarterback was. I think it's hard to spin that open competition at this point of camp is a good thing. But here's where they are.
Do you think that today has more of an impact with that decision or Saturday?
Saturday. Games have to matter more. They just do. Shane Steichen keeps saying that everything matters, how you do meetings, walkthroughs out here. Whenever you start weighing things, games have to weigh a little more. They just do. So I think Richardson, like he said, somebody said, what do you need to show on Saturday? He said, stay on the field. He was out there for 7 plays the other day before he breaks his pinky finger. So games have to matter, or why are you out there in preseason if they don't matter more?
So Mike Chappell of CBS 4 and Fox 59 as practice is over. Packers and Colts, thus the time at training camp at Grand Park in Westfield is also complete. So I just had Kenny Moore over here, and he would not tell me when he felt he was going to come back. I think he said he was going to violate HIPAA rules, which, okay. But he was.
I think teams violate HIPAA rules all the time with the injury report.
Rather coy about it.
The fact, and here we are playing sideline doctors. The fact that he's out here standing for 2 hours, and then doing the rounds with the media, I expect him to be ready for September. I just do. Alec Pierce the same way. The way they're walking around and dealing with things. I wish I had a better feeling with Juju Brents, with Jalen Jones. I just don't know, and those guys matter. So, but no, I really expect Kenny Moore is one of those guys that they don't play well without. They really don't. So I think he'll be out there. I don't want to dismiss the injury, but I think the fact that he's out here watching, again, coming over here and spending time, I think if it was significant, I think he and Alec Pierce would not be out here.
We were talking about Lou Anarumo, and he surprised me in his answer. He said, I love him. And my first thought was, do you really like the setup defensively, because that gives you more of an opportunity at playmaking, and there's more of a focus. And again, he didn't fully answer it, but you could tell that he is. And I'm assuming those in the secondary feel the same way.
He's told Anarumo's told us that he's really looking forward to having Kenny Moore out there. Remember how Kenny Moore was used by Eberflus? I mean, that's when Kenny had his breakout seasons. I think you're going to see Kenny used the same way here. He's better when they can leave him in the slot that he just is. But whether he's covering a slot guy, whether he's blitzing, run support, tackles for loss, this defense will feature Kenny Moore, which is a good thing.
Yeah, I talked to Mooney Ward back on Monday, and you can just kind of tell the defensive backs got a little bit more hop going. Now, again, Ward's new, Bynum is new, but for, the old guard like Kenny Moore to be that excited and to describe Lou Anarumo and your number one the way that he did, I was a little taken by it. It was interesting.
Well, then you got guys coming into the defense. JT Tuamoloau, I may have actually got the name right. And then I tell you, the best player in camp, start to finish, has probably been Leatu Latu. He's in the back. You think he plays fullback because he's in the backfield so much. But if he can carry this over into the regular season, you're going to see a big jump in year two. And DeForest Buckner, he gives you 6.5 sacks last year, and he misses 5 games. So I like the defense. I think they're going to be better. I will feel better when they get some of their corners back. We talked about coming into camp that the strongest position was either receiver or corner, and now you've had Juju Brents again with an injury. I don't want to pile on Juju, but as much as we get on Anthony Richardson for missing time, Juju's missed more time. So, and Jalen Jones has started whatever has been 27 games in 2 years. So you take those guys out, and then all of a sudden, guys that are 5 and 6 and 7 on the depth chart are 3 and 4, and it makes a difference. So hopefully we'll get a better idea. They won't. I don't think Jones or Brents plays in the preseason. They need to be ready for the start of the season, and I just don't know that that's going to be the case.
And you look at it this way too, man. Brents in this system, it just it looks on paper like he could go so well. But
availability, you got to stay. They tried to get him some snaps last year in the last preseason or last regular season game, and he's out 6 plays or 7 plays, and he gets hurt. So, and again, you look at him, and holy smokes, he's exactly what they want: size, disposition, meanness, physicality. But gosh, you got to stay on the field.
It's Mike Chappell, CBS 4 and Fox 59, again, preseason game 2. Coming up on Saturday, got you covered beginning with the Colts pregame huddle at 10 a.m. from Touchdown Town. I will host that event as well. So what have you gathered about the whole quarterback situation? I know that Anthony's still talking with James Boyd over there. I know Daniel Jones met with the media. If you were a guessing / a betting man right now, what direction would you go with this group?
If nothing dramatic happens in these next 2 games, I just think it's Richardson, because I don't know that I don't think Jones has had a bad camp at all by any stretch, but he just has that steady line that a lot of guys want to see. But at quarterback, I like to see a line that's got some more juice to it. And I just think there's more of a chance of doing things with Richardson. But again, he played 7 plays the other night, and it's like this is who Richardson is, unfortunately, with the injuries. He just doesn't get sacked. He goes down with a dislocated finger. So it's like they follow him around with injuries. I think he gives them more of a chance to do something, and I'll go against myself. And Daniel Jones maybe gives them more of a chance to be a nice, consistent, not a lot of turnovers, run the ball, play defense, boring team. But if that translates into wins, then that's all that matters. But I just think Richardson has done enough, because I don't think Jones has done enough to take it away from him.
So Mike Chappell is with us. Offensively speaking, you talk about being boring but maybe more consistent and an opportunity to win, more exciting with Richardson. Which one do you think that the people that need him, them, this team
like
to
Shane
perform this year? Steichen, Ballard. I mean, hell, basically everybody.
I think in that regard I'm torn. I think Shane Steichen would lean towards the guy that is more conducive to winning right away, and that's probably Jones. And maybe the franchise people, and I'm just speculating, Chris and Carly, they want to know where this franchise is going to be next year, and it's got to be with Richardson. It just does. If you've got a future with this team, with these players, it's got to be with Richardson, because if it's not him, I don't know what you do at the end of next year. Daniel Jones will be a free agent. You're going to give him, if he goes 10-7, best case he goes 10-7, you're going to give him $40 million in a new contract? I mean, I don't know where you go. So I think, but it's a really interesting discussion. Again, Stephen Holder mentioned that there's 3 teams right now that don't know who their starting quarterback is. It's the Colts, the Saints, and Cleveland. And those are 3 teams that no one's talking about in the playoff picture. So it's not a good thing to not know who your quarterback is. I would hope that going into the Cincinnati game they know, and then they'll play players accordingly in the game. But this is where they are. This is where they've been since Richardson got, didn't finish last year, and he's missed 17 games and all this stuff. So you've got to make the best of it. We talked to Ed Dodds. He said, hey, would you like to have Josh Allen and Joe Burrow and all these guys? Of course you would. If they don't, this is what you've got, so you've got to make the most of it.
So Mike Chappell of CBS 4 and Fox 59, Laiatu Latu has been the most consistent individual in camp. Why?
Because he's always in the backfield. I don't know whether that's an indictment of the offensive line, him going against Braden Smith and sometimes Bernie Ryman or what, but he just looks quick. He looks better than everybody else. And that's on a line where DeForest Buckner's played well. And JT, the draft picks, played well. I'm not going to try to pronounce his name a second time. So, but and that's what you want. I like the group of pass rushers. I'm never in favor of, we're going to have a pass rush by committee. That means you don't have a guy. You got 5 guys that are going to give you between 6 and 8, 10 sacks. If Latu can be the guy and get you back in the Freeney Mathis where 12, 13 sacks, and the team's got a game plan for him, it makes everybody else better. And again, he's had that kind of a camp. He had a lot of near misses last year. I'm really curious how well he plays this year.
Any other things we haven't discussed about it? Kicking game seems to be.
It'll be Spencer Schrader, and they go out there and kick 4 kicks today, and it was like 33, 39, 49, and then he kicked a 63.
Yeah.
And the first one he attempted was a 33, and he missed it. You can't miss 33-yard field goals. I mean, come on. But that's the guy. And again, this is what they've decided. They're going with a guy that's kicked. What is it? 9 kicks in the regular season, 5 or 6 field goals, and 5 or 6 extra points. But this is where they are. At least they've told us now that he's their kicker, barring him just doing down his leg the next week or so. So, but that's what I'm not. I've always said that the 2 things I don't like are open competition in camp at quarterback and kicker. I want to know who those guys are. Well, we know who one of them is, and I wish he had more experience. He doesn't. One time Adam Vinatieri was a rookie and wasn't very good. So, but he's got to come through. You can't, as much as you need to know your quarterback is, you cannot be going week to week, month to month, looking at your list of available free agent kickers. You can't live that way. Hopefully Schrader will be the guy, and moving forward, that's who will be here for the next 3 or 4 years.
It's Mike Chappell with us. All right. Saturday preseason game 2.
1 o'clock. God love him. Great times.
That's a good.
I'm sitting here looking at Matt
time.
Taylor. I wish I could listen to him, but I can't. I'm in the press box.
Oh, well, I mean, yeah. Well, you listen to Matt, but you're also going to have a little ownership visit in the press box. You guys will crank up at halftime,
I wonder
right?
if she's got Jimmy's wandering DNA on comments to where, and I don't think she does. The few
Probably
times we
not.
talked to her, she sort of kept on point.
I would imagine it would be.
Jimmy started on point, went out in the wilderness,
Yes.
and then came back on point.
Right.
Like 2 minutes later.
Well, and then with Rick up there with Jimmy,
Right.
it was it was mostly that
Yeah,
one-on-one.
I'll look forward to hearing what she has to say because again, we don't have the access to her like we did with Jim. But it's new. We'll work that out. But looking forward to what she has to say about this team.
Good to see Mike.
Thank you.
Mike Chappell of CBS 4 and Fox 59 preseason game 2 coming up on Saturday. 10 a.m. your coverage begins. Casey Valier will be a part of it. Bill Brooks, Joe Wright, Rick Venturi, and me in Touchdown Town. Quick break. We'll come back from a final time. If you missed it, Kenny Moore a little bit earlier. That podcast at 1075thefan.com. And what we're doing coming up tomorrow. I know that Casey and Matt, top of the hour, got a little Colts update for you forthcoming as well. That and more. Don't go anywhere. It's 93.5, 1075 The Fan. Close it out here, and Casey and Matt take it coming up at the top of the hour. Who are you guys talking to? Top of the hour? Just us, man. Just you guys? Oh, well, hell. I'll make sure I make a pathway for that bad boy right there. Hey, Case, jump on here really quick. Let's get a preview of what you guys – just don't Mike Chappell that and wind that up around the chair and trip over everything right there. That's problematic. So you guys got what coming up here at the top of the hour? Yes, essentially. Sorry about that. Hey, Phelan, can you turn his mic up right there? I know you're protecting it from the sun right there. There you go, there brother. We go.
No, we are Matt Taylor and I will break down essentially everything we saw today and put a bow on training camp up here in Westfield. Crazy.
Hey, how do you think it's gone? I was asking Mike the same thing. He gave me some highlights, but
yeah, I think for the most part it was a typical camp. You know, you had your ups, your downs. I think and this is just for us speaking, but the best thing that came from it is Mother Nature was really, really good to these guys. So you're able to be outside the entirety of camp. We didn't have any indoors, so that way every fan that wanted to come out and see joint practices in all entirety was able to be out. So I think that was good, and I thought there was really some really good work that was done. There's still some work that needs to be done as they head to the season, but in all, I think it was a typical camp, really.
So Casey Valier and Matt got you coming up at the top of the hour. I should mention, too, we'll promote this because you and I, along with Bill and Rick and Joe, Touchdown Town.
Yes, sir.
Coming up on Saturday morning at 10 a.m.
That's right. I mean, first time in Touchdown Town this season. It's always fun to mingle with the fans and all of that. But, no, it's always good to get back at home. You're always good to go back inside of Lucas Oil and, all the pomp and circumstance that is. So it'll be good to be back in the friendly confines of the place where we all enjoy. And I also love, Chap talked about it, 1 o'clock game.
It's beautiful. I love 1 o'clock on a Saturday afternoon.
I mean, when I looked at the preseason schedule and saw 2 1 o'clock games, I was like, wait a minute. Did they finally ask for my input on what I wanted? But, yeah, I love that.
All right, so our quarterback situation going to come down to Saturday in your estimation?
I'm assuming it's going to carry into next week unless, they want to really make a decision before the Bengals stuff. But I think in all, we'd all agree that it's been pretty even. I think today was a great example of that. I think you saw positives from both guys. Both guys in certain groups were able to move the ball down the field. Sometimes they, were able to get, the Packers defense got the better hand. So I think it's been a pretty even battle. They've gotten majority after Saturday, making sure that Anthony Richardson is able to get the work that they are anticipating him getting. They both got pretty even reps throughout. So who knows? We may be talking about this early next week that they've made a decision, but I wouldn't expect anything anytime soon.
It's weird. I was talking to Kenny Moore a little bit earlier, and this is going to roll on a promo. But when I asked him about Lou Anarumo, it was interesting his response and how much he loves the fact he is here.
Yeah.
And his impression he has placed on this defense.
Yeah, it's been I think everybody would kind of echo that same sentiment. I mean, especially, some of these veterans, your DeForest Buckners and Grover Stewarts and Zaire Franklins, a lot of them really do seem to fit with this defense and Lou Anarumo very well. And it's no stab at Gus Bradley. It's just sometimes – and, we all know this in every walk of life. A change of scenery is not always a bad thing. So every now and then just getting, a new voice and, a little bit of a new terminology and method to play defense, it's not a bad thing. And these guys, to this point, I think the defense has really looked pretty good throughout the entirety of camp. Now, we've got some injuries that stuff's going to have to play its way out. But for the most part, I would say that the defense has looked a little better than the offense in a lot of cases.
So Mike Chappell mentioned Latu, the person he was most impressed with up here individually. Who stands out to you?
Yeah, it's really hard to go outside of what Latu has done. He has lived in the backfield, and he mentioned that he wants to have a sack a game, and the route he's going right now, he's going to be in the backfield a lot if he can continue that into the regular season. So Latu's a guy, but then I also look at some of the offensive guys, like Tyler Goodson has really earned a nice roster spot on this team. He was a guy who maybe was a fringe 53 with a special teams aspect of it, but I think he's going to see some good run offensively with that running back room. And a guy like Ashton Doolin seems like every year he is just Mr. Consistent. We spoke with him after practice, and it's year 7, and he is a guy that seemingly every year earns his roster spot because he just continues to put in that work.
Well, The one thing I want to see is A.D. Mitchell translate, because we saw sparks in the preseason a year ago, but they didn't translate into the regular season.
Yeah, I think there has been a little bit of the light bulb has triggered again this preseason and this training camp. We have seen a lot of really good work out of number 10. A lot of times these, big plays that have been happening, majority of the time have come from A.D. Mitchell, and that is something that you're really hoping you can get, because in the grand scheme of things, when you look at this wide receiver group, I mean, it's Michael Pittman, Alec Pierce, Josh Downs. So whatever you get from A.D. Mitchell seemingly is kind of like a bonus. So if he can translate it into that regular season, really help this Colts offense.
All right, so you guys coming up here next, correct?
Yep, we're up here shortly.
You gotta get a little round of applause from Matt Taylor.
Just a little bit.
And then we start at 10 a.m. coming up on
That's
Saturday
right.
morning.
Can't wait. See you there.
Colts pregame huddle, touchdown town, Casey Valier. Thanks, Case.
Thanks a lot, John.
It's me, Case, Rick Venturi, Joe Wright, and Bill Brooks coming up. There's Chris Hagan. He's not going to be a part of a damn thing right there. A little pool party coming up. Oh, you getting ready to go on 59 here, are you? Oh, that's what I thought. But then we'll hand it off to countdown to kickoff coming up on Saturday. That is at noon. So on a little bit earlier, and Kenny Moore was with us too. A lot of stuff with Kenny Moore, who did not want to tell me his injury status, but he was around and he was talking to me, so I'm assuming I would suggest good to go for week number 1 of the regular season. It's my suggestion right there, and I'm not violating HIPAA laws or anything like that either. Nathaniel, great job. Thank you, Phelan. The AC unit worked out fantastically right there as well. I got Matt and Casey coming up on the other side. Get you updated on things from Grant Park for a final time, too. I'm back in studio with Nathaniel coming up tomorrow at 3 o'clock. Hopefully you'll join us there with 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan. Have a great night.